Christ YahShua in the Shiva Sutras. Yes, you heard me correctly. Christ YahShua is mentioned by name in the Shiva Sutras. Not only that, but he is in fact the author of the Shiva Sutras. He is the object and the subject of the Shiva Sutras. Christ YahShua, or Yeshua, however you want to pronounce it, being one of the same with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is actually Christ YahShua. And Christ YahShua is none other than Lord Shiva, the creator of the universe himself, the Son of the Father, the Son of God, the Son of the Eternal One, the Son of the Uncreated One. Christ YahShua was there since the beginning of time. You might be thinking, keys to the truth, you've lost your mind. I probably have. Or am I waking up? Are you waking up? Is it a coincidence that you're listening to this, that you're watching this? Or is it something much more powerful and sublime at work through you and I? A lot of people might be saying, keys to the truth. How come nobody has detected this before? How come the gurus or the swamis or the pastors or the preachers don't talk about this? Are you maybe mistaken? Yes, I may be mistaken. However, let me recall Matthew 11:25, which goes something like this. At that time, YahShua said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children. So you see, it is Christ, the Master himself, the Creator himself, telling us that the Father, the Almighty Creator, the source of all, hides these truths, hides certain higher truths from the wise and the learned, the mighty men of renown, and reveals it to the lowliest of children, the lowliest of us, the ignorant, the unprepared ones. Truly, I tell you guys, I am completely unqualified for this material. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar. I'm not a Bible scholar. You know, I don't have these fancy titles for these fields in theology or Sanskrit studies or Hindu studies or Shaivism, or I haven't spent 20 years in an ashram, or, you know, I haven't been a pastor for 30 years. Completely underqualified and ignorant. However, according to Matthew 11:25, this is having the mind, the spirit, the disposition of a child is precisely what qualifies you and I for these higher truths to be revealed to us in our state of ignorance. Since we are looking for the connection and the guidance of the one who knows all, the omniscient one, the omnipresent one, the omnipowerful one, the Master, Kyrios, Pankratros, the door, Christ YahShua, and the Father, the eternal one, the uncreated one. So I am seeing, if you've watched some of my other videos, the name of Yahshua, as he is called Yeshu or Jeshu in Sanskrit. In Hebrew, he's called Yeshua or Joshua, however, whatever vowel you want to use. If you've watched my other videos, this is a recurring theme. This is not something I'm making up, and I'm showing you slide by slide the exact proofs. I'm not just, coming up with this stuff, sleight of hand, out of a hat, making it up. You guys do your own research. You guys corroborate every single thing I'm presenting to you here, and come up with your own truths. So what are we to believe? You believe whatever you want to believe. This is again one of those trigger moments. Is the black, dark, chaos magic more powerful than your love for the truth? Or is your love for the truth more powerful? Are you going to take the red pill or the blue pill? Are you going to wake up to the Creator, or are you going to stay asleep in your dumbness and your state of stupor forever? It comes down to that, okay? Well, my church, my mega church, my TV evangelist told me to believe this and only this. Or my ashram and the temple, they only told me this, and they hate the Christians, or they hate the Buddhists, or they hate the Hindus. Do whatever you want to do. Like, honestly, I'm just presenting you the facts. I'm telling you my opinion, my take on it, my conclusions, and all the evidence that I've gathered through the course of several videos. So be sure to watch the other ones. There's one on the decoding of Om Namah Shivaya. It is called Om Namah Shivaya Decoded. So yeah, you can watch that video, Om Namah Shivaya Decoded. It's a great video where I give you the play-by-play over the course of an hour of how that mantra is all about Christ Yeshua himself. I do not use the name Jesus. You can look up several hundred videos that tell you why that name is incorrect. Okay? But if you use that name, just do your own research and then come back. I also did another study on the Upanishads, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and the Chandogya Upanishad, where they again mention Christ Yeshua by name and how he saves the Devas in the war in heaven from the Asuras, the good angels from the bad angels. Full breakdown, check out that video. And also on the Vedanta, I did another video where, God revealed himself to me in the Vedanta with the actual name of Yeshua. It actually says Jeshu in the Vedanta several times, and I tell you that on that video. So Christ Yeshua, again, is the object, the subject, the author of the Vedanta. And now I found like another jewel on his crown of glory. I found him in the Shiva Sutras, and you can see the evidence here in a moment, but what I'm telling you is this is huge. I mean, this is mind-blowing. I can hardly believe it myself. I'm pinching myself. I'm in Narnia. You're in Narnia. We're both in Narnia. This is amazing. This should be, again, on the evening news. It's never going to be there because those people work for the devil. Your preacher's never going to tell you that. Your Swami is never going to tell you that. Your guru's never going to tell you that, because guess what? They're in it for the money, most of them, okay? Or they work for the devil, or they don't know. They don't have that level. So again, I mean, how many people know this? I didn't know this a week ago. And like 2 or 3 days ago, actually, I woke up at like 3 a.m. and something woke me up. I can tell you God woke me up, and he's like, get out of bed. I didn't have any sleep. Come back to the computer. Keep reading the Shiva Sutras, which I had been reading for over a week. And out of the blue, out of like nothing, there's a thought that enters your brain, and you might think, oh, it's you. You're not articulating that thought. It's coming from somewhere else, and it tells you, download this PDF or look at this book. And like, what am I looking at? You keep reading it. Then what? And then wake up at 3 a.m., which is actually, some of you might know, it's the hour that is most conducive for spiritual work. It's called the Brahma Muhurta in Sanskrit. Like between 1 a.m., 3 a.m., it's the time of the day or the night when the sun is farthest away from you. So the sun is so powerful that it helps a lot of things for creation, but it also it's so powerful energy-wise that your spiritual energy goes down, way down. So between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. is when it's your spiritual energy is more conducive. So that's why so many people do prayer at that time of the night. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. It woke me up at the time, and then that's when I saw it. When I saw the name of Yeshua, whom is called Jeshu in Sanskrit, here in the Shiva Sutras. And I'm going to go in the play-by-play in a second, But so this is so monumental because this is one of those aha moments, eureka moments, and it's also one of those life-changing moments where everything becomes, that was hidden becomes revealed. Everything is revealed in the sense that, you're having this doctrine from the Shaivism of Kashmir, which is older than time itself. We have no idea how old it is. It's older than even the Vedanta. It's so, if you want to, you can call it yoga, but it's even older than yoga. It could be, there's estimates between, 8,000, 12,000, 15,000, 20,000 years ago. We have no idea of knowing. Honestly, there's no way to date it. This is all coming down from oral histories. Like even the Bible was an oral tradition at some point. And then, people started writing it down in secret. Remember, the Rakshasas and the Asuris and the demons and the demon worshippers and just crazy people have tried to destroy this knowledge since they were manifest into being, since the evil was manifested. So this has been an oral tradition, and then it was written down after. So it could be millions of years. It could be 100 million years old. It could be hundreds of billions of years. We have no idea of knowing how old the Earth is, or how many cycles it's gone through, how many yugas, there's no way of knowing. You could say the Earth is 5,000 years old. You could say it's 4.5 billion years old. And that's all going to be just wild guesses, as good as the next guess, because there's absolutely no way of knowing. What we do know is that this tradition predates the Ramayana. It predates the Mahabharata. All of which are histories. There's no mythology here at all. This is all 100% bona fide histories. And Lord Shiva in the traditions is called Adiyogi or Adidevi because he was there before even the universe was created. And that's the same thing that John 1, chapter 1 is telling you. Okay? In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So the parallels here are astounding. If you have the eyes to see and the ears to listen, what am I saying? Am I saying that, Christianity plagiarized the Shaivism? I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the complete opposite. I'm telling you that they're both the same because Christ has been to earth more than once. Yes, he's been to earth more than once. And here you have a lot of evidence, documentary evidence, scriptural evidence to the fact. And the Bible tells you as well, okay? The Bible tells you in several instances that, his teachings were more than even the disciples were able to write down. In John 21:25, and I love these verses. They're just so full of God's power and truth. John 21:25, YahShua did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written. So that's a huge truth. It's the gospel. That's a huge statement there. He's not telling you, we could have written, a whole encyclopedia or 10 encyclopedias. He's telling you that not even the whole world. So how much did he tell them? How much did he teach them? That was lost to censorship, to book burning, to violence, to, just wars and destruction and craziness, and the devil, trying to destroy it right and left. Even the Vedanta is said to have been stolen by the Rakshasas before it was recovered. Again, the Bible had to be hidden. Christians we've been persecuted for ages, So, and the Vedanta tells us that we're living in Kali Yuga, right? So, again, that thing where, YahShua is only in Christianity. He's not only in Christianity, he's a universal truth. The universal incarnation, physical, actual embodiment of the Almighty. And it's just something that you have to, God has to reveal to you inside of your heart. There's no other way to come about these truths, honestly. And you have to be very humble. You have to be like a child for him to reveal it to you. If you're so wise and learned, he's never going to reveal this to you. Like, how many people know and can read Sanskrit? Very few, right? Maybe, I don't know how many, maybe 10 million, maybe a million, I have no idea. But out of that subgroup, how many people are Christians? Maybe not one of them, maybe 10, maybe 100, maybe 1,000, I have no idea, maybe 10,000. But you see how the number starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller? How many of those think they know everything? Probably a lot of them. How many of those have such an open mind that they're willing to question like the very fabric of matter, like we are, right? If you've seen my other videos, the fabric of the universe, and like question everything. And you see that how that number shrinks down, and you see why this truth has eluded pretty much everybody until now, because God's finally, finding these people like you and I who have had, come from such diverse backgrounds, and you've done this, you've studied that, and you're doing this, and you know about that, and then all of a sudden, well, you're the right mix for him to reveal his higher truths. Where he was Shiva when he created Shiva, Shiva, whom is the Almighty, created everything, created humans. He was the first physical human, and then created all the other humans. Then he developed a super advanced civilization that used, the magic of God, the God magic, the God spells, and he used, he taught humans to speak, and he taught them Sanskrit, and he taught them also to write, and he taught us how to, build civilization, and he taught us how to use crystal magic. And all these things that have been hidden away, destroyed, or time has, devoured them. And then, the cycles continue. And then he leaves, and then, people start doing, how we are, we start doing our thing, and things start going south. And then we invite the evil into the world, and then the fallen angels fall, and then they arrive, and there's no more Shiva, there's no more, and then they start taking over, right? And then they start muzzling us, right? Ring a bell. And no, you can't speak Sanskrit anymore. That's only for the Devas. You're going to speak Prakrit now. Or we're going to develop, languages for the different continents and different countries. Now we're English here, Angelish. Okay, you write it. And then, they start doing all these things. And they use force of violence. They use any method at their disposal. Brainwashing, all the black magic, all the techniques. Right? So there's a big history, a long history here that is a lot more than we are told. And the devil didn't create nothing. I'm sorry about the double negative. Neither did I do that on purpose. The bad angels, all they know how to do is to corrupt and lie. Realize that, okay? When people say, "Oh, the written language was invented by the devil and it's all satanic," well, it has been corrupted, but that doesn't mean that they created it, okay? God's the one that creates. Christ YahShua is the one that creates. So going back to the Shiva Sutras, what I'm telling you is that he had that name. So, a horse is a horse in English, but in another language it goes by a different name. Like in German, it's going to be Pferd. Der Pferd. In Spanish, it's going to be El Caballo, right? In English, it's the horse. Are you talking about different things? Are they a different color? Do they have different hair? Well, probably they do. Are they the same embodiment of the same cosmological principle that has, the four legs and the hoofs and the long tail and the long face? Why the long face, right? Well, the jokes. The same thing here. Shiva is the first Adi Devi, Adi Yogi. Adi Manu is the first human, and then creates all the humans. And he teaches us everything. He teaches yoga. Yoga means the path towards God, going towards God. I do not agree with the etymology that yoga means union with God. That's, in my opinion, an incorrect etymology that comes from the root word yug, or yog, which means union. To me, yoga is more between a composition of yo, which is a declination of Yah, which means God the Almighty, and Ga, which means to go. So it's more of a going towards God. It's an everlasting path towards, an infinite path towards God. And it could be anything. That's why there's so many kinds of yoga, because even I had this comment with one of the listeners that was, oh, I love my dog and my puppy. Well, if you are so in love with your dog and you have this devotion and you're petting your dog and that leads you towards God, that's a yoga. That's going to be like puppy yoga. Anything that leads you towards God is by definition yoga in my book. But that's a theme for another video. Anyway, so I get to the point, keys to truth. I am talking about the point. This thing is the whole point of how we reach, back into timeless immemorial and find, what's true and what's not true. So the Shiva Sutras mention in 339 the following, and apologies for butchering the Sanskrit. Chitta stiti vacharera karana vayeshu. Again, Chitta stiti vacharera karana vayeshu. It's one word. Yes, it's a huge long word, and it's also a verse, which is called shloka in Sanskrit. And you can corroborate all this. Please feel free to with your own physical books or text. And what grabbed my attention when I saw this is the last two phonemes, Jeshu. That's the name of YahShua in Sanskrit. That's exactly what it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's verbatim. Verbatim. Do you want a picture of him there? I mean, what more could you ask for? It's plain and simple, okay? In plain sight. So let's see what each one of these words mean. Like, not words, but phonemes. Because in Sanskrit, and this is another proof that Sanskrit is the original language of creation, you can create words that are long, like have hundreds of letters in them, like over 400 letters in them. And there's no way to do that in any other language. Not even in German, which has long words like Fafek, Nogen, or so many others. So, Chitta means mind. Stiti means state of. Chitta stiti means state of mind. Now, again, each word, you might also have that heckler there as like, oh, it doesn't mean that. Well, I'm putting all the translations I could find here, so you can do your own findings. And it's a lot you have to take into account the context, because Sanskrit is so simple yet so complex that each word has like 50 or 100 meanings and like 50 or 100 synonyms. So you have to find the relationship between them to find it out. So if it says mind and state of, what is that? State of mind. That's an easy one. And it says vacha, child. Vacha is a child. And that's actually the root for child. Cha, child. Okay, simple as that. And then rira, that was hard to find. I could find barely anything. It says it's a name of Shiva, but it's also laughter in French and Spanish, like in the future tense. So just keep in mind that a lot of these dictionaries and etymologies of Sanskrit have been destroyed. Like there's huge databases on Sanskrit, but they're not going to be complete. So it could we could just like we did with Lemuria, remember in my video on the names of the continents. So Lemur in French means the wall. So Lemuria is the wall of Yah. And even if you can't specifically find it in Sanskrit, if you find it in a modern language, you can't possibly like do a reverse etymology. So I'm doing a reverse etymology there, if you allow me. If you have a different one, please let me know. Where rira could be laughter in Sanskrit and a name of Shiva. And I'm correlating that with child. So what does a child do? A child laughs. A child rira, avec, comme le français. Okay, so there you have it. Let's see what that would come out to. And this is why it's so important. Why is he talking about children? Why is he talking about laughter? Let's read the Bible. So you're using several keys to the truth here. Mainly, we're using the Bible as a key to the truth itself, and we're using Sanskrit, another key to the truth itself, and then we're using the Shaivism, the Vedanta, the Yogic scriptures, holy scriptures, again as a key to the truth. So those are three keys to the truth right there, and we're mingling them and mixing them so that we can get to the truth, triangulate between these different points of unknowns into that place where we could possibly find the truth. So Matthew 8:4, therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Christ himself is telling us the importance of being children, taking the position of a lowly child. Okay, and he says that they will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And that doesn't make sense in this world, but he's telling us how it is. And then in the Shiva Sutras, he's saying, Vacharira, Vacharira. So he's saying the laughter of a child, the state of mind of the laughter of a child. Matthew 18:5. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. Okay, so he's very poignant there. Welcomes me if you welcome the child. And what child? If you haven't been married, if you don't have children, if you're listening to this and you're 10, you're 20, you're 15, you're 30, you're 70, whatever age you are, if you have kids, you have grandkids, if you don't have kids, you have a child within you, your inner child, no matter what. And it's that relationship with your inner child that is going to dictate, according to the gospel, if you're welcoming Christ, YahShua, into your life or not, if you're welcoming the divine into your life, or if you're denying him and you're welcoming the demonic into your life. All right? So let that sink in for what it is, which is the word of God. Matthew 18:10. See that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven. And nobody gets to see the face of the Father except Christ. Not even the archangels, not even the sages. Nobody. However, Christ is saying that even the little children, they do get to see the Father. Because they're so immaculate. They're his prized possession. And I even joke sometimes with my friends or my kids, and I tell them, you know what? Maybe God created this universe and this reality and this earth just to have children. And like the adults are the byproduct. And we're just here to take care of the other children that are come in the future. Maybe, tell me if I'm wrong, right? Maybe he just rebels and delights in the kids, between 0 up to 10 years of age or whatever age, and then it's like, oh man, it's gone. So next one, and then the adults take care of the next generation. Maybe, could be, prove me wrong. Just some food for thought, an exercise. Half water, half full, half empty. Matthew 19:13-14. Then people brought little children to YahShua for him to place his hands on them and pray for them. But the disciples rebuked them. YahShua said, let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. He couldn't be more specific. He is being very specific. So the second part of this shloka. He says, Karana, which means the cause of all, the supreme being, the creator. Ba, which means resolve, grow, or increase. And Yeshu, which is Yahshua or Yahshua. So now we can see what the whole word the shloka, the verse is saying, and it would be something like this. Again, if you want to place the words differently, let me know. This is one of those Star Wars Yoda moments where the words might be inverted in their order. So let me know your thoughts, your comments. Please like, subscribe, share the video, download it, copy it, mirror it, rip it. This is knowledge that is supposed to go to everybody that is receptive for it. This is not from me. This is from the Most High. And I really thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe as well. I also have a Patreon if you want to support. This is very time consuming. It takes me hours and hours and days. But I'm getting, faster at it, hopefully. But your support is very welcome. I'm also going to have a website coming up, keystoTheTruth.com. And on Patreon, you can find me also as Keys to the Truth. So let's see. It will come out to something like this. In the state of mind of a laughing child, resolves, grows, increases the maker of all, the cause of all, the supreme being, the creator, YahShua. I cannot stress the importance of what he's saying, the state of mind of a laughing child. And this is matching exactly what the gospel says about the little children and being as little children and being able to access the divine in that state of being little children. And he's telling us here in the Shiva Sutras 339, and it's the same author of the Gospels and the Shiva Sutras. So now you see how huge this correlation is. Just outside of the fact that he's using his own name, he's signing it YahShua. He's telling you who it is, who he is. And probably that first generation didn't know. Like, why are you saying YahShua if you're called Shiva? And then now, if we were calling him YahShua, and like, why are you telling us he's called Shiva too? I mean, he's just, because dude, he's not gonna try to like confuse us. He's not the author of confusion, okay? He is telling you the simple things because that's what we need to understand. He doesn't need to tell us I come every 10,000 years or every million years or whatever, okay? Because that's beyond our level of comprehension. Remember Nicodemus when he went to the master and to ask him, like, can you explain these secrets? Like, I'm not going to tell you. You can't even understand the things of earth. I'm not going to tell you the things of heaven. So if we can't even get along with our neighbor, treat your neighbor as you treat yourself, or love your neighbor as you love yourself, love God above everything else. If we can't do those two things, how are we supposed to get these more advanced, mysterious things? Okay. The point is, Christ YahShua is the ultimate mystery of the universe. He is the master of the universe. He's the son of the creator. And he is the creator as well. He is Adiyogi. He is the one that came in the beginning and, created every single thing and gave us the knowledge to do everything in a state of super advanced technology, super advanced spirituality. And then that starts decreasing until we are now like beasts, behaving like animals, like worse than animals, demons. What's worse than an animal? A demon. Animals don't do what we do. You look at the world around you. It's mayhem. It's chaos. And it's being ran by the devil. Why? Because we allowed the evil to come in through our sins. So that's why he comes back, and then he atones for all our sins and dies on the cross and, goes down to hell, takes the keys from hell from the ruler of the underworld himself, Jamaraja. I'm going to do a video on that later. And, he gains all power, and then he subdues the devil, and he places him under the power of death. And then he comes back to life, and then he, stays around for another maybe 40 days, give or take. He teaches some more, and then he ascends to heaven in a cloud. How do clouds float? Check out my video. And you're going to see how it's a complete possibility. That he actually, manifested the clouds, and they lifted him up. His body, he could transmute his body. I'll do some more videos on all these subjects, which are so fascinating for me. I hope they're fascinating for you. But let's go on. Let's go on to the next shloka, which is very interesting as well. I'm going to read from, from John 1, just to drive home the point. If you want to skip ahead, go ahead. These videos, I recommend them to be heard at 1.5x speed because I speak slowly, but you can hear them at 1.5x and then you can hear me better. Actually, when I play them back for myself, I hear them at 1.5x. So, John 1, the Word became flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Okay, so man, that's just huge. That's probably the most powerful paragraph in the Bible, or one of the most powerful. But so we go to the Shiva Sutras, and now we're going to see a little of the dark side of the force. In Shloka 3.43, where it talks about the devil. And, there's a lot of people that say, oh, there's no devil in the yoga. There's no devil in the Vedanta. That's baloney, okay? That's for fools, right? There is a devil, and he has so many names. One of his names is Kali Asura. And remember, the best trick the devil ever pulled was making people believe that he didn't exist. But he does absolutely exist. It's an entity of evil, pure evil, all darkness, no light, that, rebelled and, just seeks to destroy humanity, take us down with him. So he's mentioned here in the Shiva Sutra, and he's mentioned like 2 or 3 shlokas after Yeshua. So, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but that's just beyond the realm of coincidences or probabilities. There are absolutely no problem. You can have Yeshua in one sentence, and then 2 or 3 sentences after, he's talking about Christ kicking the devil's butt, God destroying the devil. And the devil's a snake. So we know that from the Bible. So it goes something like this. Bhuta kankuki tada bimukto buya patisama para. Again, Bhuta kankuki tada bimukto buya patisama para. So many of these words are going to sound familiar, like even the expression tada. It comes from Sanskrit, and that's no coincidence. Buya comes from Sanskrit. So many things that you're going to start seeing right and left, like, oh my God, this comes from Sanskrit. I didn't know. Because all the languages come from Sanskrit. The first language, the language of creation, the language that Christ, Yeshua, Shiva, Lord Shiva himself taught us. And let me tell you what it means right here. I'm going to show you all the etymologies. Bhuta means demon. Kankuki means snake. And if you watch my video on the meaning of Cancun, it means snake. And that Cancun means snake. Kankuki is not just any snake, it's the snake of this world. So who is the demon snake of this world? It doesn't take, a learned scholar to tell you it's the devil. Okay? So that's very simple. Tada means to hit, to beat, to strike. Bimukto means to liberate, specifically to liberate during the lifetime, while you're alive. That means mukti means liberate. Bimukto means while you're alive. So that's huge right there. So it means let's see the second part of that. So we get the complete picture. But initially we're seeing demon snake, and somebody's hitting it or beating it or striking it to liberate something. Okay. So bu means to become, to be the base of something, to be born, to arise, to happen, to occur, to exist, to manifest, to take physical body to obtain, to purify. Yah is God himself. It also means him, his, the Father. And that's been heavily scrubbed from the Sanskrit database. But you can still find it. Make sure you keep records of this. You print them out or you save them, because it's being scrubbed. And a lot of this information is being scrubbed. Pati means master. Sama means sameness, equanimity. It's actually the root word of the word same. Sama, same. Para means beyond, just like paralegal, paranormal. All those words have a Sanskrit root, like all the languages. So we get this shloka is going to mean the following. The master, whom is beyond sameness, equanimity, is born, arises, happens, occurs, exists, manifests, obtains, purifies. The base becomes God Almighty, becomes the Father, becomes Yah, and liberates in life while striking, beating, hitting the demon snake. That's exactly what the Bible tells us. So it is YahShua who is born into this world, who becomes Yah, and he is the master beyond sameness equanimity. There's nobody else that has that level of sameness equanimity. He's way beyond that. He's a master of all. And he exists. He takes embodiment, physical shape, actual physical shape. So a lot of people get caught up in like, oh, he's just a myth, or oh, I'm going to believe the top 100 New York Times bestseller BS garbage, the Oprah Winfrey garbage that's being peddled in modern pop culture. Oh, he's just an astrology figure, or it's just symbols, or it's just your spinal cord and your spinal fluid and Christ consciousness. Just those are levels of understanding, and they're layers of the onion of lies, man. The reality is that ultimate truth is that God himself, the maker of everything, the substrate of all the crystals in the world, is a consciousness. It's a Mahatma. It's a Chitta. It is God himself. And everything in the world is consciousness. And it actually takes physical form. And it actually becomes a human. He becomes a human because he wants to relate to us. I mean, he could become a giant. He could become like a titan. He could become like whatever he wants to become. You know, but he takes shape as a baby, a helpless baby in a manger. Okay? Just to show you like the level of humility and to teach you how it's done, you know? You want me to show you how it's done? You don't think I can feel the pain that you felt? Hold my beer. You know, I'll show you how it's done. Not a single sin. And guys, I'm not coming from a place of dogma. I am zero dogma. I don't have a dogmatic bone in my body. I'm coming here from the different keys that I've identified to find our bearings back in this reality, in this world, this hall of mirrors, this funhouse of hell, you know, so that we can go back to the divine. So there's two shlokas here that coincide directly with the Bible. The master who is beyond the sameness, equanimity, you know, liberates us and strikes that down, beats down that demon snake. You know, and how does he do that? He does that as a little baby, as a little bacha, rira, in the state of laughter. He resolves. And he liberates. Okay? And he casts down that evil snake into the pits of hell. So, I hope this was as helpful for you guys. It was very strong and very deep for me. I hope I relayed the information in a manner that's helpful for you in your journey. And again, I really appreciate you. God be with you. May you see God everywhere. May God be with you again. And God bless you.